Restart. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wa afdalu salati wa salam ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. So today is a final class on the Quranic studies in Western academia. Two main perspectives covered in the first three meetings. The first one, what's called Ur text, and the second one, the biblical origin of the Quran. Today we will move to a new, let me read that one. The third approach, and it seems we need more time to cover four perspectives. So this one, the third one, linguistic origin, and the fourth one, we don't have time to cover it, to speak about traditional, or what I call semi-traditional approaches on Quran in Western academia. So for linguistic origin, so just I want to make sure for the people on webcast if they have any question. So we have Kamaluddin is organizing right now any question coming from webcast. So please feel free, and if you don't understand question from here on site, anyone on the webcast, if you don't understand any question, ask me to repeat or to explain. So this approach is very connected to the previous one, the biblical origin. So biblical origin mostly or mainly connected to the biblical text and sub-biblical text. So all commentaries, works on the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible and Gospels. So for linguistic origin, we have three topics to cover in this hour. The first one, to speak about Arabic languages or dialects in Quran and non-Arabic. And then to speak about inscriptions in Arabia. So Arabia is a word used for the land, geographic land, what's called now Saudi Arabia. So Arabia is the north and the south, including Mecca and Medina, Taima and Yemen. And here to speak about Quranic words written on inscriptions. So some discoveries on these inscriptions. I'll talk about the attribute Rahman, Rahmanan, and other words like Baal. And also debate among scholars on foreign words. This on Al-Itqan, on a Suyuti perspective. And he presented different opinions in his book on is there foreign words or are there foreign words in Quran. So As-Suyuti mentioned a couple of resources, one of them by Abu Ubaid and also Ibn al-Durayd. Abu Ubaid, we find it on this, in this list, or the third one on this list, Abu Ubaid al-Lughat allati nazala biha al-Quran. So languages that written down in Quran or cited in Quran or used in Quran. And also there is another work, Al-Asfahani, Mufradat al-Quran. So Mufradat here is not a commentary or just interpretation or explaining these words, but to speak about these words as a keywords in Quran. And also there is a book by As-Suyuti with the title المذهب فيما وقع في القرآن من المعرب. المذهب فيما وقع في القرآن من المعرب. So المعرب here is different from معرب. So المعرب here is the word that is a foreign word and then becoming an Arabic word. So what's the best translation for ta'rib here? Arabization? Can we say Arabized words in Quran? And Tajuddin al-Subki wrote a manzuma, a poem on all of these words mentioned in Quran as a foreign words. And then As-Suyuti completed and added some lines to this manzuma. The total became 70 lines on foreign words in Quran. So however, there is a technical term for foreign words in Quran. What is this? Ajami, and there is a technical term. Ajami is a very broad term, but there is a technical term used by scholar on foreign words in Quran. What's the technical term? This is a question for people here and also for anyone on the webcast. Ad-Dakhil. Yeah, and there is something else? Yeah, that's good. So Ad-Dakhil is the word that's used by a scholar to speak about any word or any foreign word mentioned in Quran. Ad-Dakhil. So Ad-Dakhil from Dakhala. So the word entered to Quran from outside. So, however, the main book written on this by Christopher Luxemburg in the 70s of the previous century, he said that many words in Quran coming from Syriac and Aramaic, and they have different meaning. And he said for the word Hur al-Ain is not about women or girls in heaven. Hur al-Ain is just about grapes. And based on this, he just like based on Syriac and Aramaic, he presented different meaning about Hur al-Ain and how Muslims during the history of Islam deceived by there are girls in heaven, and he wrote a long article on that. So the meaning of Hur al-Ain, so girls versus grapes. So, however, he derived this meaning from Syriac and Aramaic. However, the scholars of Syriac and Aramaic described Christopher Luxemburg as a lexicon person. He just like derived all of these issues not from Syriac literature. He is not expert of Syriac literature. It's just like based on lexicon. If you go to dictionary, you can find a lot of these connection between a lot of words. But how you can build the connection and the idea of nazam and is this fits here or not? So this beyond the dictionary. So it's not about to find a word in Syriac that means the same meaning. You need to understand the context and also the usages of each term. Yes, and these also Western scholars. So the people in Potsdam, in Corpus Qur'anicum, the people of Semitic languages consider Luxemburg is just like a person with like dictionary, is not beyond dictionary. And they, when they speak about the words and technical terms and all of these words in Quran, they said is not the issue is not about dictionary. The issue about the connection between the Syriac literature and Quran is not about words. And to understand Hur al-Ain as just like grapes, this just like based on dictionary, and dictionary can give you many meanings. So they disagree. However, Christopher Luxembourg, I can make a similarity with Christopher Luxembourg and Nasruddin al-Albani. So how I can make this similarity? So there are some people coming to any field and raise some issues. And these issues is just like victim issues. And then after them, you can see the field revived. And this is what we see in Ilm al-Hadith in the 20th century after Nasruddin al-Albani and after Luxembourg. Many works on Qur'anic text revived and written after Luxembourg, just refuting him or building a new approach. So, and you can see a lot of works if you put just like in Google Luxembourg and works on Luxembourg, you will see a lot of works on him. Yes, Sidi Abdurrahman. Yeah. So Sheikh Abdurrahman asked, is Abu Ubaid on this list, Abu Ubaid al-Lughat التي نزل بها القرآن, is Abu Ubaid al-Qasim bin Salam? Yes. هو هو أبو عبيد القاسم بن سلام. So when we speak about dakhil, so in the same chapter, As-Suyuti mentioned i'rab, and i'rab here in a different meaning of what we received i'rab. So the meaning of i'rab, as we understand, is what's the i'rab? Syntax. So, but here is something like beyond just syntax and ending cases, subject and khabar, mubtada, and all of these. So, for As-Suyuti, he mentioned وَيَنْبَغِي الْإِعْتِنَاءُ بِهِ. الْإِعْتِنَاءُ بِهِ. So we should care about i'rab and give an attention to i'rab. فقد أخرج البيهقي من حديث أبي هريرة مرفوعا. So Abu Huraira narrated a hadith to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said أعربوا القرآن والتمسوا غرائبه. So أعربوا القرآن here just in order to make i'rab to Quran, and what's the meaning of i'rab, and we will see that in the coming text. And والتمسوا غرائبه. التمسوا غرائبه, seek for gharib and all words that needs to be explained. And there is another text by Ibn Umar also marfu'an to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, من قرأ القرآن فأعربه كان له بكل حرف 20 حسنة. So this is the evidence for As-Suyuti to make a different meaning of i'rab. He said, reading Quran without i'rab. So I'm sorry, just I want to complete the text and then. So anyone reading Quran with i'rab, with every letter, he received 20 hasana. And anyone reading Quran without i'rab, he received with every letter 10 hasana. For As-Suyuti said, reading Quran without i'rab is a sin, is not about hasana. So then i'rab here is not about syntax and about just giving vowels and ending cases. So then As-Suyuti said, al-muradu bi-i'rabihi. So what's the meaning of i'rab here? Ma'rifatu ma'ani al-alfaz. So to understand the meaning of each word is not about the ending case. It's not about what the vowels that you give on the ending. To understand the meaning of the word, the origin of the word, the evolution of the word, and the network of the words. So وليس المراد به الإعراب المصطلح عليه عند النحاة. So not the meaning of i'rab here is not what nuhat, what grammarians understood from i'rab here. لأن القراءة مع فقده ليست قراءة ولا ثواب فيها. So if you read without i'rab, then there is no any reward with this qira'ah. Not 10 hasanat, and not 20, and not any hasana, because qira'at al-Quran, reading Quran, should be with these vowels. So any questions so far? Any question?
Relating this final paragraph with the well-known hadith, whoever reads Quran and بجهته he has one, or he has more hasana than the people.
Yeah, so يتتعتع به is different from إعراب. So يتتعتع به is just someone is struggling with قراءة but not changing the meaning. Because even though أنت تتتعتع بالقرآن and reading with this struggling, but in the end you make correct vowels. But if you receive إعراب, as grammarians said, إعراب is about ending cases. If you say الحمد لله in this way, so this is not يتتعتع به, right? But if you say الحم in this way, يتتعتع به, struggling with the letters as kids reading Quran in the beginning, so this is the meaning of يتتعتع به, to make in the end correct vowels.
And those who do the tata are understanding the ma'ani then.
So this is the second من قرأه بغير إعراب. So without understanding the meaning يتتعتع به, and without understanding the meaning, then فله 10 حسنات. Okay, but if يتتعتع به and understands the meaning, then فله 20 حسنة. However, so the idea here, it seems for As-Suyuti in this chapter and other chapters, he just presented an argument that i'rab not about grammar. So here, because we see from the 5th Islamic century and so far, we have a lot of books on i'rab al-Quran. And to understand i'rab al-Quran is a very important tool to understand Quran. But i'rab al-Quran has two meanings. The first one, to understand the meaning of words, and then syntax. So why I brought this here with dakhil? What's the connection with dakhil and i'rab?
In this situation, you will need a resource to understand those outside words.
Right. Okay. So because in Quran we need to understand the meaning of each word. From where? The origin, evolution, and is an Arabic word, not Arabic word, Quraishi, or what the resources of each word. Yes, please.
So at the bottom of the slide, he says shouldn't that contains توقفوا في الألفاظ لم يعرفوا معناها ولم يقولوا فيها شيئا.
No.
So how do we reconcile that it was in their language and they didn't understand?
Yeah. So this coming after, we will see that Ibn Abbas just said, for anyone doesn't know the meaning of any word, just go ahead and study Sha'r al-Arab, because Sha'r al-Arab is a resource for all of these words. And there are many, there is a couple of hadiths talking that some words in Quran for Sahaba not understood, like Abba, and you know this, وَفَاكِهَةً وَأَبَّا, Umar ibn Khattab and others. And they seeking for all of these meaning from Sha'r al-Arab, and some of words mutashabih, they didn't give any interpretation for this. And some words, as we see in, it's a very big subject, some words is just like coming from outside of Arabic or from Arabic dialects in Arabia. So how we reconcile this? Because yes, that's happened. It's not just a theory that Sahaba did not understand some words. That's happened in reports. We will see that, and you read that Sahaba they did not understand some words, and they asked for the meaning of some words. So how we can do i'rab techniques in this way? So what's the i'rab techniques? It's just to understand grammar and to study grammar and matan al-ajrumiyya and the way that we are studying here, or a different way. So for i'rab, ويجب عليه مراعاة أمور. So to understand i'rab, you need to follow these steps. The first one, أن تفهم معنى ما يريد أن يفهم, so for any reader to understand the meaning of each word as a single and as like a word combined with other words in the syntax or in the order. فإنه فرع المعنى قبل الإعراب. This before إعراب. So إعراب, if we understand إعراب here as a grammar, in the end, to give ضمة and فتحة on the ending case, you need to understand each single word and the word, how every word connect to other words. فإنه فرع المعنى. This is just a result of meaning. Ibn Hisham, you know all of Ibn Hisham, the one who wrote شذور الذهب, شرح شذور الذهب and قطر الندى. قد زلت أقدام كثير من المعربين راعوا في الإعراب ظاهر اللفظ ولم ينظروا في موجب المعنى. So المعنى here, the meaning is very important to give إعراب. So then, how we can see Arab as a grammar and Arab as understanding the meaning? Arab as understanding the meaning is the main issue here for Quran. And grammar is a result of this. So you cannot do grammar, you cannot put ending cases without understanding the meaning of each word. And then also a step to understand Arab and to follow Arab and to apply Arab, and يراعي في كل تركيب ما يشاكله. So in each combination, in each word in Quran, you need to see how this word mentioned in Quran in different surahs. And then to understand nazm, the coherence, is the idea about nazm al-Quran as a one piece. This is a question, this is an answer for Dr. Muhammad question, poetry as a source, and Nafi' ibn al-Azraq questions. So in Al-Itqan, with around maybe 80 pages, he mentioned all questions by Ibn al-Azraq, Nafi' ibn Azraq to Ibn Abbas. So Nafi' ibn Azraq asked Ibn Abbas about a single word in Quran, and then Ibn Abbas cited a line from a pre-Islamic poem. And all of these questions mentioned by Al-Mu'jam Al-Kabir, Al-Tabarani Al-Mu'jam Al-Kabir. However, so the interpretation by Ibn Abbas considered among Muslim scholars weak. And some of them said لا أصل له. But however, you will see a lot of كتب التفسير after Ibn Abbas cited Ibn Abbas as a source to interpret and understand all of these words in Quran. And this report narration to Ibn Abbas he said إذا سألتموني عن غريب القرآن فالتمسوه في الشعر فإن الشعر ديوان العرب. If you ask me about any word you don't understand in Quran, so then go ahead and seek for the meaning in شعر, in poem. فإن الشعر ديوان العرب. So here poetry is ديوان العرب. So ديوان العرب here, maybe the best translation is to say the corpus, a corpus of Arab. So you need, this is the source. If you need to understand any word in Quran, you need to go to this corpus, al-Mudawwana al-Nassiyya. So with the wujuh, with the I'rab, al-Suyuti mentioned two technical terms. The first one, wujuh, and also he mentioned another technical term. He said this like wujuh, al-huruf al-musarrafa and al-nadha'ir. So al-wujuh, there is an example I put here, al-fitna, or fitna as an example for wujuh. So fitna, a single word, but means different meanings, with different meanings, this wujuh. So how we understand wujuh al-Quran, to see, to trace and to track fitna in Quran and see different usages in Quran. Nazair is the opposite. Nazair is about synonyms. It's like to speak about Rafa and Rahma. So Rafa and Rahma and they share same meaning but different words. And this, to understand I'rab, you need to know wujuh and nadha'ir. And you can see this as we have in fiqh, wujuh ونظائر and al-qiyas, analogy. فالوجوه هنا اللفظ المشترك. So الوجوه as fitna is a one single word with different meanings, and النظائر many words with one meaning. النظائر also called in usul اللفظ المتواطئ and الوجوه called المشترك. الوجوه called المشترك. Okay. So As-Suyuti mentioned a couple of texts to explain the sources or how many languages used in Quran. This one of the text, maybe the most important text in Al-Itqan, he said قال أبو بكر الواسطي في كتابه الإرشاد في القراءات العشر في القرآن من اللغات 50 لغة. There are 50 languages in Quran. And then he mentioned all of these 50 languages. لغة قريش, one of these languages, لغة قريش. هذيل, كنانة, خثعم, الخزرج, أشعر, نمير, قيس, عيلان, جرهم, اليمن, أزد شنوءة, كندة, تميم, حمير, مدين. All of these coming from the south of Arabia, mostly. And all of these names of tribes. So the languages based on the names of tribes. And then ومن غير العربية, so words used from outside of Arabic, non-Arabic words from Furs, Persian, Farisi, and Rum, Nabt, Nabataean, Habasha, Ethiopian, Berber, Syriania, and Ibraniya, and Qibt. So all of these mentioned by Abu Ubaid, he said, and then Al-Itqan, there is a chapter to give an example for each language, to give an example for a word with each language. No, Rome here is Roman, is not Greek, is not Yunan. I don't know. I don't know if this is Latin or something else. But just like Rome, this like needs someone, an expert with languages of Roman. Anyone here can help with Roman and Latin? Yeah. However, also there is another text mentioned Greek. It's different from Rome. This Rome and Greek is not same one. Okay. So this an inscription found in pre-Islamic Arabia, and you will see here. I hope that's clear for you. Everything here in Arabic. So when you know all of these letters, then you will read Arabic. You don't read any different language. You don't read here Hebrew or Syriac or Aramaic or Greek. This Arabic language and called pre-Islamic Arabic, but different letters. And this a text, unpublished text, I just was at Princeton University for 5 days intensive workshop by an expert from France who is teaching these languages. So all languages before Quran, pre-Quranic Arabic. And the pre-Quranic Arabic cover around 1,000 years, around 1,000 years, and include all of these languages. So this is what we studied at Princeton. We studied some texts from Hudayl, Kinana, Khatham, and Qais Ailan, Al-Yaman, Himyar. Mostly, all texts mostly coming from Himyar, Ghatafan, Saba, and Qais Ailan. What else here? Mazhaj, wa Khuza'a, and other. We don't have inscriptions on this. Yes. That's Very important question. So based on the inscriptions, we found this mostly dialects. It's not about languages. So all of these, you can see this chapter here. So the first before Arabic, non-Arabic. So mostly share these letters. All of these languages share these letters. However, the evolution of these letters in the beginning, angular style. And then when you're coming very close to Islam, you will see cursive, all of these coming cursive, as in Arabic. First, like Kufic, angular, and coming with Nasakh, and others coming cursive. So going from angular to cursive. And same for pre-Islamic Arabia, is the evolution is from angular to cursive. So in this text, you will see two texts with also the images of animals. This also on these inscriptions. So in the bottom of this inscription, you will see Hebrew language, and based on this, based on experts, they said this added after Islam. And in the top, this pre-Islamic Arabia, and you can see here more like cursive, is not angular. So just compare between these, and then between this the top. So coming and then I have a table for the evolution of these language, these letters from angular to cursive. So this a text. I don't know what the time for it, but I believe this written by Abraha al-Habashi. This a text written by Abraha al-Habashi, and you can see here the same letters, but in the end of this text, Abraha said, Rabba Hud bi Muhammad. So this before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is an inscription written on the rock in Hima. Hima in the south of Mecca and Medina. And the beautiful things about all of these inscriptions at Princeton University, so all of these inscriptions refute and criticize completely. So what we call about revisionism is done with these inscriptions. And this, I'm speaking about Princeton University, an expert coming and to explain all of these among or before people, the one who made the theory about revisionism and the late political Islam, or what's called in Abbasid era. So, however, this you can see the English Lord of the Jews by the praised one, Muhammad. So the French expert, he said, be Muhammad here, Rabba Hud be Muhammad could be Mahmud or be Mahmad or something else. However, for Christian Robin, he said he found around maybe 10 to 15 inscriptions written by Abraha and his soldiers. And on inscriptions, he found the whole tribe of field coming with pictures of fields, pictures of elephants on inscriptions. And this is the first time, this unpublished inscriptions. So he found the whole tribe from the south going to Mecca, and they drew elephant, and they said, and with the distance is 1,500 kilometers from that place to Mecca. And here, and especially with these inscriptions, we see in Abraha a lot of religious words. And this Rabba Hud mentioned in different inscriptions, not in one place. In different inscriptions, Rabba Hud. But just one time, be Muhammad. Rabba Hud, be Muhammad. So, however, the word Muhammad, the name Muhammad, Mahmud, it's found on all of these inscriptions before Islam. So this, a list of words found in all of these inscriptions. Amin and Alam, Bara'a, to create, Baraka. Some words just like Saba'ik, and just you can find it in Lisan al-Arab, not not familiar or famous right now in Arab tongue, and ma'un, masjid or masjid, salot, prayer or salat, with this, like you see S with dot, that means sad, and then Nuh or Nuh, Rahman, but mostly written always with nunation, Rahmanan. And there's no any inscription use Rahman as Al-Rahman, always Rahmanan with nunation. And Shalom, Salom or Shalom, and Zakat, grace of God. So all of these words found an inscription before Islam. So here, just a list for the 8 Abraha inscriptions and the date of discovery. So this is the date of discovery. The last one, 2018, Hima. That's one. There's a very new discovery to discover the last sentence, Rabbahud bi Muhammad. And this is a list of the 8 Abraha inscriptions and the date of discovery. The first one in the 19th century, and then one in the middle of 20th century, and then in the last decade. And this is the evolution of letters from angular to cursive. It's 29 letters, same as Arabic letters, but sin and sheen, there is for sin and sheen and another letter between sin and sheen. It's hard to say it. I don't know, it's like close to sin and close to sheen. You can try. I don't know. However, so it's not tough to study these languages. It's not tough. So if you focus on the line in the middle, you see, do you see 300 in the middle? 300 in the middle, in the top. Do you see it? So under this line, if you memorize all of these letters and go ahead to read any inscription, just memorize them, put them, and this is what I did when I studied. I memorized them, and then yes, I can read all of these texts. That's Rabbahud bi Muhammad. And then you can go and to study all of these texts. However, this it's not easy to go in this world. Like there are few experts in the world. For Christian Robin, he said to read a text with all of these differences and nuances of letters, there are just 3 experts in the world to read these inscriptions. Especially with the cursive letter, it's very tough to know is this or that. And just like you can follow the cursive, it's very tough, very similar. But the angular, yes, you can find. However, there is no any connection between these letters, the shape of these letters and Arabic. You cannot make any similarities. If you take like any letter, like Ra, you see Ra as crescent. It's similar, but just like crescent is not coming like down. If you take Ha in the top, is like Y in English. If you take Kha or Ha, is like on the third one from the middle. However, you have these slides. You can memorize these letters and then apply to any text, like just this assembled text I put here, and then to follow all of these letters, and you can read. However, there is just one dictionary in the world for this language, is Sabaic and Arabic, from Sabaic to Arabic, but not to cover all of these languages. I'm not an expert. I'm just like a student of these languages. I'm not an expert. So feel free, if you know more, correct or add. You have a question? Good, very good.
Just because we don't have short vowels, the meaning changes reading passively.
Right.
So now, for example,
They're insistent on reading it Muhammad. There is technically, I mean, it could be, as you said, Mahmad, it could be
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud. So
Yeah.
insisting on Muhammad, that's a choice.
Right.
And saying, for example,
This is a choice by Christian Robin. He
yes,
said be Muhammad, but he said after the workshop that it's just like floor open for you. You can read it as Mahmoud because the rules for this, as you said, Dr. Shukri, the rule is no long vowels here, as in Hebrew. So Hebrew, no long vowels. So 3 letters, and then you need to understand long vowels. Arabic has long vowels. But here we don't have long vowels. So then Muhammad could be just like read it as 4 letters with just like short vowels. Mahmad, Muhammad.
as you said, Mahmoud. In fact, we can push, and this is also a choice. For example, to say, if we are talking about Abraha, it will be Rabb Hud bi Mahmud. And Rabb, Lord, Hud will be the area where Hud alayhi salam existed, which is Yemen, where Abraha was. Bi Mahmud, with Mahmud, which is according to the Arabic tradition, is the name. What's the name of the elephants that they brought in our tradition? Mahmud.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord of that area with Mahmud. I'm not saying this is the explanation.
That's very good because this completely opened for reading. There is no any concrete reading for this, and there is no any concrete theory, and this very opened space for reading because long vowels is a problem, and also the origin of some words like hood here. For him, maybe he can argue with you because someone mentions that Hud is what you said is about.
The name is a proper name.
Yeah,
so.
but he found Hud in different sentences means Jews for him, but I cannot recall all of these texts. So can I say I agree with him or not? It's just like I say he is an expert in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So these nuances to know this Hud as a city, as a qawm, people,
Yeah.
or to speak about religious community, Hud
Mm-hmm.
here like Jewish. Yeah, after the workshop, we heard a lot.
Yeah,
like
it's open. Yeah,
one said, just like go beyond this, and he said, the Abraha here referring to what mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. فلما جاءهم ما عرفوا كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين. So they understood and they knew that there is a prophet Muhammad. And just like you can see, is like some people like coming from religious perspective and go beyond all of these texts and made a narrative. And this is just like based on linguistic reading. And for Christian Robin, I think just based on he just found all of these texts and maybe he has maybe 3 inscriptions to make a theory. It's not about like books. Just 3 inscriptions that Hood mentioned here and there, and then he said just like based on this Jews. Yes, please.
Just the same idea that because what I have noticed a number of times, they know that there is ambiguity,
right?
And it's a chance to make their interpretations, and because you are outside the specialty, you think it is completely objective. It's not.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree, and I said this a field that's just like my eyes opened to this field a few months ago, and I worked on this, and I found it's very important with this text by As-Suyuti to speak about all of these languages. So this a field is an important to understand all of these words in Quran, because it's not about Western academia or not about Orientalist. There are many texts in Ulum al-Quran and prophetic reports and from Sahaba, Mawquf, to speak about Dakhil. And then how we can access, how we can build a knowledge.
Yes.
So can we build a knowledge just based on these 3 words, or we need to understand the language as the people of this scripture, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Any question from the podcast? Yes.
There's a comment from Brother Tariq Makhlouf. He's speaking about Rome, referring to the Byzantine Empire and therefore the Greek language.
Okay, that's good. So Tariq Makhlouf said that Rum here means Greek language. That's, as we said in Arabic, Yonan. But I found also this also for Tariq, I found that maybe I need to be sure about this. That's Rome and also Yunan mentioned in a different context, but I'm not completely sure about this. You have a question? Yes, please.
The issue of languages in the sort of Byzantine territories could be twofold. So the language of the Byzantine Empire, the state, would definitely be Greek,
right?
Because it was Hellenistic.
Very good.
But the languages of the local population could be a variety of different languages.
Okay.
More importantly, the Arabic, which you're likely interacting with, not the state.
And this is what happened in مكاتبات الأمويين, Umayyad caliphs. They mostly tell Al-Walid bin Abdul Malik everything written in Greek. That's in Roman, or this like official letters. Thank you.
Yeah, you can have the concept of Roman could be a vulgar local language
Right.
that people in the Roman Empire spoke.
Okay.
That would not be Greek.
Okay.
Because Greek at that
and
time.
what's the like term used for this language? What's the name?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, but not Rome, right?
Right. It wouldn't be Roman.
The language spoken by the common people before the conquest was Aramaic.
Yeah, but it's different from. But it's different from Rome. Different. Yeah. So, however, this like beyond my area, so it's just like open for you. If anyone like expert of this can add.
I mean, Jerome's translation
Yeah.
of the Bible was outside of Greek. It was called the Roman Vulgate.
Good.
To appeal to the
Just
common,
make it.
to appeal for the common masses
Mm-hmm.
that spoke a different language.
Great. Any addition to this?
So what's going on? So, for example, the word Byzantine. There is the word Byzantine. So a Rome, generally speaking, when are translated, they translate are Byzantines. The issue is the Byzantines, they didn't call themselves Byzantines.
Mm-hmm.
They did call themselves Romans.
Okay.
Especially after the split of the Eastern Roman Empire. But the Westerners, meaning especially the Latin speaking, they didn't recognize that. That's why in English we call them the Byzantines, but they themselves called themselves Romans. However, the language that was dominant at that time, and especially in Anatolia, it was the official language was Greek.
Good.
Obviously, they had possessions and whatnot, so not everybody spoke Greek, but the official language at that time that was dominant, it was Greek. Another issue, inshallah, is that it seems, wallahu alam, words derived both from Greek and from Latin do exist in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
For example, inshallah, the word qintar.
Mm-hmm.
The word qintar, that seems to be
that's in Surah Al-Imran.
Yeah, that's Latin.
ومن أهل الكتاب من إن تأمنه بقنطار. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if Asyuti mentioned that. He mentioned just one example for a word derived from Rome. I need to check with the word, but I'm not sure if it's qantar or something else.
Yeah. For example, the word dirham.
Yeah.
That's similarly from Greek drachma.
Okay.
Although it's interesting, it came through the Persians because
I think this word used by Suyuti.
The word dinar also.
Good.
Inshallah.
So Dr. Shukri said 3 words: qintar, dirham, and dinar. So, however, it seems for us so far we need to address this issue in a different angle. So this is a very growing field right now. So there is a field, Quranic studies, and there is another field to speak about the linguistic origin. And this is not based on riwayah, not based on prophetic reports, based on understanding all of these languages. Unfortunately, Arab don't give any attention to all of these because they have a theory. But I think we need to understand this from a different angle. And here, just to go with this, because we don't have enough time to cover this issue. So then Quran and Quraysh language, Ibn Abdul Barr said very clearly, قول من قال نزل بلغة قريش معناه عندي الأغلب. So he said, anyone said that Quran revealed or written down or by لغة Quraysh, the language of Quraysh, that's mean al-aghlab, the majority. Not everything in Quran from Quraysh. لأن غير لغة قريش موجودة في جميع القراءات. So any like languages outside Quraysh written and mentioned in Quran. And one of these examples, Hamza. Quraysh لا تهمز. So don't make a Hamza. Just make it تسهيل. And this is what we found in Ash-Shafi'i al-Risala. So all muhaqqiqeen corrected the manuscript and put Hamza. But Ash-Shafi'i did not put Hamza because he is Qurashi. But Ahmad Shakir, he understood that. And then, based on manuscript, he deleted all Hamzat from al-Risala. Because his language is Qurashi. So then, foreign words, what the opinions that we have from ulama, the majority, Quran doesn't include foreign words. This is the majority. Quran doesn't include foreign words. What the evidence for this? The ayah, Quran and Arabiya, Arabic Quran, and then وَلَوْ جَعَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا أَعْجَمِيًّا لَقَالُوا لَوْلَا فُصِّلَتْ آيَاتُهُ أَعْجَمِيٌّ وَعَرَبِيٌّ. There's two evidences used by this scholar to say that Quran doesn't include foreign words. And then At-Tabari support this opinion, and he said ما ورد عن ابن عباس وغيره من تفسير ألفاظ من القرآن أنها بالفارسية أو الحبشية أو النبطية أو نحو ذلك إنما اتفق فيها توارد اللغات. So Ibn Jarir Tabari said what's narrated to us from Ibn Abbas that some words from Nabatean or Habashi or Farisi is just about tawarud al-lughat. This like words used by all of these people is not derived from them. So yeah, tawarud lughat is just like used by Habasha and used by Arab. There's no any progress or evolution. Is just tawarud al-lughat used here and there. There's no evidence for this. It's just tawarud al-lughat, not linguistic, not based on linguistic evidence. So then he said فتكلمت بها العرب والفرس والحبش بلفظ واحد. So here we don't see the origin of the language. So just like used by all of these. A question? No, is still one opinion, because for Asyuti mentioned two opinions. One said no, and another said yes. But the one who said no gave different reasons. This one of these reasons, tawarud lughat. And you will see then different reasons, but based on the first opinion that Quran doesn't include foreign words. So وقال غيره, this is to support the first opinion, بل كان للعرب العاربة, the real Arab, التي نزل القرآن بلغتهم بعض مخالطة. So they mixed and they corresponded with others. Then some words coming to them, and they use these words, and then these words happen to be Arabic, and then written in Quran. So written in Quran because the Arabic are words. The words are Arabic, not coming from outside of Arabic. This is different from tawarud. So here is, yes, Quran doesn't include foreign words because these first in the beginning were foreign words, but then becoming Arabic words. And he said, وقال آخرون كل هذه الألفاظ عربية صرفة. لكن لغة العرب متسعة. All of these words merely Arabic. لكن لغة العرب, but the Arabic language is very wide. And this a Shafi'i opinion also. That's what he said. لا يحيط باللغة إلا نبي. So the idea of language is about beyond human being understanding. It's about revelation. So here there is no any evidence to start to study the origin of all of these languages. It's just about revelation. The second opinion, Quran includes foreign words, and this Suyuti opinion. And they said, for like to understand Quran and Arabiya, they said أن الكلمات اليسيرة بغير العربية لا تخرجها عن كونها عربيا. So if any Persian قصيدة, poem, use some Arabic words, we cannot say this an Arabic poem. There's still Persian poem. And same for Quran, if any like words written in Quran or used in Quran from outside of Arabic, we cannot say this like not Arabic Quran. And then for another ayah, أعجمي وعربي, this ayah interpreted in this way. بأن المعنى من السياق, the meaning based on the context, أكلام أعجمي ومخاطب عربي. This completely the opposite. So how Quran used foreign words for Arabic audience? This completely the opposite. Okay. So then, I support this opinion. And I believe that Quran as a world text is not just like an Arabic text. What the meaning not a world text is not like just like to combine all of these languages. But some specific words used in Quran and mentioned in Quran for the communication. وأقوى ما رأيته للوقوع في اختيار, this is السيوطي, he said, to support this opinion, to التابعي الجليل تابعي أبي ميسرة, he said, في القرآن من كل لسان. In the Quran, they're all languages, they're all tongues. وروي مثله عن سعيد بن جبير أو عن وهب بن منبه. And this by السيوطي, he said, فهذه إشارة إلى أن حكمة وقوع هذه الألفاظ في القرآن أنه حوى علوم الأولين والآخرين. The image of Quran to contain all knowledge of previous people and the coming people and others. ونبأ كل شيء, and the news and of everything. فلا بد أن تقع فيه الإشارة إلى أنواع اللغات والألسن. There's just a balance between the Quran cover many issues, and to cover all of these issues, also Quran mentioned different tongues. فاختير له من كل لغة أعذبها وأخفها وأكثرها. So Allah here selected from each language the best and the accurate and the word that fits in the syntax or context on the coherence of Quran. And before that, As-Suyuti cited 4 pages on the word istabraq. He said, based on this, the understanding of istabraq, he said, if you put any Arabic word instead of istabraq, لاختل المعنى. The meaning will be completely different, and we don't have this beautiful meaning. So istabraq here is a very important word to understand the nazm of Quran. So istabraq is one case. Awwa, I mentioned awwa in our previous class as an Hebrew word. If you go to Hebrew dictionary, that's not like based on Hebrew dictionary, is a very big chapter on ava. That's alif, vav, and he, and the meaning of ava, as you can see here on the point for awwa. As-Suyuti give 2 origins. The first one from Ethiopian, and the meaning of awwa is muqin and rahim. But based on the Quran, like what we have, Inna Ibrahim la halimun awahun munib, is da'a, or the one who tendered heart. So according to Hebrew, is like awah is the one who, that's the same meaning that we have in Arabic. So to the first, so just first point, rhetoric and fasaha through foreign words. So if you speak with people, like Arab people, you need a tool to communicate with them. So Quran as a scripture for all human beings. So fasaha taqtadi require to use some words to communicate. So sometimes when I communicate with like English people, so the best communication when I use the specific term. So sometimes as like someone not native, and you can see this like through our 4 classes. So I don't have the technical term or the specific term to communicate. So when you need to communicate, you need to use the best word. And this best word is for Arab and for Muslim and for readers of the scripture to understand why these words used in Quran. What's the message? So in Ibrahim la halimun awahun munib, the word written or used in a very important encounter between Quran and between Hebrew Bible, between this argument on behalf of Lot's people. So, and we don't have any discussion in Quran about this mujadala argument. So in Quran, يجادلنا في قوم لوط. Ibrahim argued with us on behalf of Lut. So where is this? You don't see from the first word to the last word, you don't see this, the nature of mujadala. So then for mufassirin, they rely on, you can see, go to any tafsir and you will see mujadala. And mujadala completely as Genesis 18. There's nothing from hadith and not from prophetic reports. Then like Rashid Rida and the books that used Israeliyat, they quoted the whole Genesis 18 in their books, 4 pages. This is the mujadala. So in Quran, يجادلون في قوم لوط, and then used awah. It's just an encounter and a dialogue between Quran and a new message, a feedback on this mujadala. This a message is not for Muslim, for outside the community, for Hebrew people to understand the new message. There is a new message and a feedback to this mujadala, because in Genesis 18, everything done. After mujadala, you can see 4 pages. In this is the language of Hebrew Bible. Allah left, Abraham left, and then what's the feedback? And in Quran, Inna Ibrahim la halimun awahun munib. So Quran here to speak about, so Quran based on the first opinion and based on like Arab understanding is just regional. So then the idea of i'jaz is just based on Arab understanding. So here the idea of i'jaz is beyond Arab understanding. It's not just about balagha, it's not about syntax, it's not about i'rab, it's about the meaning of all of these words. So then everyone can understand the construction of Quran, and if he understands the construction of Quran, and this is what we can see why many scholars in the world interested in Quran and added to Quran. And one of them, Toshihiko Ozotsu, when he came to Quran and he understood the message of Quran based on the idea of i'rab, nazm, coherence, and he wrote 2 beautiful books on the concepts in Quran. Arab just came to his book as a new theory, and they put Toshihiko Ozotsu now before any tafsir, because he understands the message, the Quran as like a coherent text. And then for just to go to Toshihiko Ozotsu, he in the 3rd point here, he understands Quran as conceptual construction, and he presented a very important term This, I think, German term, Welt and Chance-Lehre. Lehre is philosophy or view, Welt is world, and here Anshang is views. So how Quran views the world based on the coherence, based on nazm. So if any word you change from Quran, if you go to Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen and you put any word instead of any word in Surah Al-Fatiha, the view will different. So then each word is selected with nazm to mean something for Muslim. It's not just a word. It's not about Ijaz here, about just using words in this nazm. So this is the meaning of dalala. The idea based on this question, what's happened if we change this word and we put another word, like istabraq, like wal asr, if we put wadduha here instead of wal asr, wadduha innal insana lafi khusr, or to put wal fajr. And there's the different view. So each word used precisely to give a view for the world. And then for Toshihiko is also, he used this theory to understand the concept of Iman based on Quran, the concept of Kufr, the concept of Allah, the concept of Insan based on Quran. And why Muslim received in our modern time? Because this is supported by many traditions to speak as Quran as qit'a wahida. And you will see that here. And this by Abu Yusuf, maybe the oldest citation to speak about Quran as nazm. Abu Yusuf, the student of Abu Hanifa, he said, لأن القرآن معجز وهو كالقطعة الواحدة. That's a very beautiful citation from Abu Yusuf. So it's just like one piece. And there, another opinion by Al-Ja'bari in his treatise حسن المد في معرفة العدد, حسن المدد في معرفة العدد, he said وصل القرآن كله جائز, based on mad, waqf and mad, waqf and wasl. He said if you read Quran from the first word till the last word without stop, wasl Quran, because reflecting each other, mirroring. This is another theory about wasl and waqf. So wasl al-Quran kulluhu jaiz, and here al-Quran ka qit'a wahida. So however, I think I'm done with the third approach. I presented here two opinions, and I support the second opinion by As-Suyuti. Al-Quran as a wall text is not based on just Lughat Quraysh. That the meaning here is not Lughat Quraysh is just the main language, but yes, dominant and based in the majority on Lughat Quraysh. But we see other languages in Quran, other dialects in Quran, and this not for Arab. And especially when all of these words mentioned with biblical text, it's very important to read biblical text and then to make the comparison between the biblical text and what's the new message here. And this is very important here for Muslims in the West to understand the previous literature and then how their book correspond and communicate with all of these. And this needs to understand languages, dialects, and this for experts, not for anyone reading. And again, I want to enhance and to just to confirm the idea of i'rab. I'rab here is a different meaning from i'rab as Arab understood based on syntax. I'rab here to understand the meaning of words. I should stop here because we reach the time, but just we have few minutes for questions. Yes. You asked during the lecture, so but just few minutes for question. تفضل دكتور.
Just to mention that, for example, for languages like Hebrew, Aramaic, Amharic in Ethiopia, Southern Arabic, these are from the same family as Arabic.
Right.
So there is, for example, the concept of cognates, meaning they are not There might be borrowing, one language borrow from another, that's possible. But there's another possibility that they have, shall we say, historically the same origin, so they are not borrowing. So that's going, let's say, vertical.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the similarity between the two languages is due to the fact that they come from the same origin.
Right.
So that's something. So just to make sure that there is the possibility of borrowing, which is normal, but there is also the possibility these are cognates, meaning they are coming from the same word.
And if we have just one word here, but different meaning in Hebrew lexicon and Arabic, so just I can use an example, Al-Madina.
No. Yes.
Al-Madina, based on Arthur Jeffrey, his works just on foreign words in Quran, and he has a second edition, book with maybe 300 pages. He cited all foreign words in Quran from Syriac, Aramaic, and other. He said Al-Madina in Quran is from Hebrew. And if you go to Hebrew dictionary, you will find Medina, the origin, the root of Medina, the three radical letters is
Da, ya, nun.
Dal, Ya, Nun, Din.
Yeah.
And if you go to Lisan al-Arab and all Arabic dictionary, what you will find? Mim, Dal, Nun.
That's one possibility, but there is also, I
You
read
see,
somewhere.
Madana and Din.
Mhm. Mhm.
But then it's this like very important understanding, because here, yes, same, it seems like one family.
Yes.
And it seems like, because Medina as a word used in Hebrew, Medina.
Yeah. Now it means state now.
Right.
Yes.
So now is based on Deen, the commandment, based on the religious connection in the one place, or based on Madana, just staying in one place. And this is a different view.
Yes.
Do you see a different view here of world?
Yes.
So when I use Deen, Malik Yawm ad-Din, we just discussed with Dr. Muhammad about Deen, and then what's the meaning of Deen, and then we have different words, the family of Deen, Medina, and all of these. So this Medina coming from Deen, the religious connection and religious commitment to the place, or just a place that you are staying in without this religious connection.
Yes, interestingly, I read a khabar about why Al-Madina is called Al-Madina.
Please.
And what I remember from the khabar, no, because it has deen, it has so it goes back to the root dal ya nun.
Okay.
From where we get also the ad-dayan.
So
yes.
So about all Arabic dictionary right now. So
not all, I would say.
So
some of them, yes.
So I think we need to be humble in this way to say not all, because what I found, I maybe I can say this language. Thank you, Dr. Shukri. So what I found, I think I didn't find someone use Deen as a correct route. They mentioned that, but they didn't say this a correct route. They said some said that, but the sound opinion based on Madana, not based on Deen. But here the argument I want is the different view. When you make Medina from Deen and Hebrew origin, or you make from Madana, the idea of Medina in Quran, and then how you can understand this term in Quran based on Arabic lexicon, or Hebrew text. I think there is a question.
Just an observation.
Yes, please.
Observation.
Yeah.
Contemporary Jews, they often will refer to America as the new Medina.
How you can receive that? What?
So I think the idea here is that.
And you said contemporary, right? Contemporary.
Meaning people that we speak to, as opposed to, like, say, ancient philosophers.
Yeah.
But they often will refer to the United States because the idea that they have left their origins, the city of origins, for a new sort of place. So it's kind of interesting that the idea has changed from a more religious one to a more
urban and just secular.
Right, more secular, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
But this just based on the usage, not based on the opinions and articles written on New Medina, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm wondering where they're getting that from. They must be getting from some interesting kind of source.
Yeah. So then the idea here is not about, we have one family, and then the discussion is Arabic before, Hebrew before. Yes. Here the scholars use material evidence to say this before that. Arabs, they said Rebord to say Arabic is the mother of all languages. So how we can read this? The idea then about the conceptual and words and how we can understand all of these concepts in Quran. So like the word Medina here, it seems a very important case. Is derived from Deen or derived from Madana? And this different view is derived from Deen, then the connection you can see, and this different interpretation. And other words like Awah here, to speak Awah is like from Habasha is Muqin, and Rahim is different from Da'a or based on Hebrew, and other words. And Salah, so Salah, they said Salut is from Syriac and Aramaic, and then with the origin of this word and other there are many words. And Rahman, you know that there is right now what we call Rahmanism, because this is about the case of Rahman, and speak about the origin of the epithet and Sifat al-Rahman in Habasha, but completely is used by Hebrew people, Rahman, and you can see here Rahman in pre-Islamic Arabia, and this may be the most important word discussed among Western scholars, Rahman. You have a comment, right?
Some of these scholars, they really push this, and they, for the lack of better word, they weaponize it. For example, the word Hanif.
Good, very good.
The word Hanif in Aramaic, the cognate of the word Hanif, something like Anipa.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? It means basically a pagan.
Right.
And they will try now how to bring that, and because it's ultimately about Ibrahim alayhi salam,
right.
So it's completely different meaning.
The opposite meaning.
It's the opposite. That's a key word. It's the opposite meaning.
It's a different view, as I said.
Yes.
So then is a very critical issue. It could be the opposite and could like confirm what you have. So Hanif is a very also important term and used by all of these, like from, and also I think it's derived from Syriac based on Gabriel Said Reynolds in the Quran and the sub-biblical text. I think he found Hanif mostly among the literature of Suruji, Yaqub Suruji, and Afram Syrian in the 4th century, derived from Syriac. And convey the same meaning as you said about the opposite of Hanif, the one who is straight on the path. So yes.
I just want to share an observation. I'm sure you're well aware of this, but some of our students.
Just like
okay.
Make it short.
Okay. So the idea is, this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls these people Ahlul Kitab.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, hikmah in that, which is that it's very intuitive for them to prioritize written evidence over oral transmission. And many times what they'll do is, they'll basically take some material evidence, which of course has many gaps because thousands of years old, right? And a lot of it is lost, and then just come up with a science fiction conspiracy theory based upon, the fragmentary material evidence, and then some other will say, well, that's just a conspiracy theory that makes absolutely no sense, and it will be debunked, and then just keep going back and forth. And so the fact that we have the fact that the oldest inscriptions we have of Arabic is 1,000 years before Islam, that doesn't mean the language originated at that time. That's just the earliest
just material evidence.
Just material evidence. So that's something that we should be very conscious of, that, you know, all of these arguments based upon like material evidence and sort of like
Right.
these
Right.
weird theories, you know, based upon, you know, like imaginative interpretation of fragmentary material evidence, you know, should be taken with a tremendous grain of salt.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, you know, the oral transmission will be more trustworthy than the material, the theories that are made upon fragmentary material evidence. And, you know, best example of this is Musaf, you know, that
Yeah.
Luxembourg, you know, and all of those, you know, people who went with him were dating the Quran so many centuries after the Prophet, and then, you know, once the fragments were found, all of those theories were rejected. But
Oh.
what did they confirm? That they confirmed what the oral tradition was saying all along.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's very important, and also this this observation needs from us to be aware of all of these texts as students, scholars, experts, specialized in, and also the people of Quran, to understand all of these issues. And I encourage everyone here to maybe to read the work by Toshihiko Izotsu, and to see how he used the idea of Nazm and Ijaz. This is from inside Muslim tradition to explain the Nazm of Quran. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for generosity. Thank you for your patience, and especially for like someone coming from Arab world with non-native language. So the idea is just like to share with you all of these points, and I hope this can help you to maybe to understand, to contribute, and to add. And as I said, there is just the last one. I hope this like could be 5 classes, because the last one is just to mention this, the semi-traditional approach. You will have all of these slides. I'll send all of these slides to all participants here. In this one, the last one, I'll cover tafsir versus other approaches, or tradition versus non-tradition, Western traditional and modern debate, Suyuti and Farahi perspective. Farahi as an Indian scholar, and how Western scholars receive Farahi and Salahi, and especially at Stanford University with Behnam Sadiqi, professor, the concept of Nazm and Amud al-Surah, and also to speak about Mus'haf versus Quran, again in what I call semi-traditional approach among Western traditional, because Gabriel Said Reynolds, he wrote a book, the Quran and Sub-Biblical Text. But the whole approach based on Mus'haf, not based on Quran. He said, I want to use Cairo Mus'haf to give, to build my approach. This, it seems very new. To accept the idea of Mus'haf is not the Ur text, it's just to avoid the problem of Ur text and coming to Mus'haf, and just based on Mus'haf we need to work. But then he speaks about the biblical origin of the Quran. I need to stop here. We about 10 minutes after our time. Thank you again. Wassalamu alaikum.